This is the Samsung S25 Edge, and this phone has surprised me. This phone has been out for about a month now, and honestly, this wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't something I was planning on buying, because I'd been using the S25 Ultra, and I already had the best Samsung had to offer. But then, my wife bought the Edge, and from the moment that I picked it up, I was shocked. So I immediately bought my own, and for the past month, I've been using the Samsung S25 Edge as my main phone, and today, I want to share my honest thoughts about it. This isn't going to be a deep dive spec breakdown. Instead, I want to talk about what it's actually been like living with the S25 Edge day to day. So today, I'm going to talk about a few features of this phone, and at the end, I'll wrap up with who I think this phone is really for. So let's get into it. So let's start with the design and build quality of the S25 Edge, because honestly, this is where the phone first surprised me. Spec-wise, the S25 Edge comes in at about 163 grams, which is insanely light for a flagship phone. For comparison, the S25 Ultra weighs in at around 218 grams, and trust me, you can really feel that difference. The Edge is thinner and slightly narrower than the Ultra. It's built with a titanium frame, which adds to its premium feel while keeping the weight down. On the front, it uses the Corning Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2, and on the back, it has Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2. Overall, this combo makes the Galaxy S25 Edge feel both durable and high-end without ever feeling heavy or bulky. As for the color options with the S25 Edge, you've got your choice of titanium silver, titanium icy blue, and titanium jet black, which is obviously what I went with. But specs aside, the build of this phone is one of those things that you can't fully appreciate until you actually pick it up for yourself. The weight difference of this phone just blew me away the first time that I held it. I love how I can just throw it into my pockets, especially when I'm wearing athletic shorts, and I can barely even feel it's there. It's almost like it just disappears. Now let's talk about the display, which I think is one of the best features of the Samsung S25 Edge. Spec-wise, you're getting a 6.7-inch Quad HD Plus display with a resolution of 3120 by 1440, and of course, it has a max refresh rate of 120 Hz. But what does that actually mean for daily use? Everything just looks so crisp and vibrant. Whether you're watching videos, scrolling social media, or gaming, however you use this, it all just looks amazing. The colors really pop and the text is razor sharp. And with that 120 Hz refresh rate, everything just feels smooth. The display also shines when it comes to gaming, which is something that I'll talk more about later. So overall, Samsung nailed it with the display, and I don't feel like they made any compromises here. So next, let's talk about the performance and the software, because the S25 Edge is definitely no slouch. Under the hood, it's running the Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is the same processor that you're getting across the entire S25 lineup, including the Ultra. So in terms of raw power, you're not missing out on anything by going with the Edge. It also comes with 12 gigs of RAM, so multitasking has been super smooth for me, and everything runs just as fast as you'd expect from a flagship phone. On the software side, it comes stock with One UI 7, which I have no complaints on. Samsung keeps refining their software, and it feels smooth, clean, and easy to navigate. But if I'm being honest, the one downside with Samsung phones, and this isn't unique to the Edge, is the bloatware. There's just a lot of duplicate apps that come pre-installed. You've got your Samsung Store and the Play Store, your Samsung Internet and Chrome, Samsung Calendar and Google Calendar. You get the idea. But again, that's more of a Samsung thing overall that's not specific to this phone. Outside of that, the performance has been rock solid. Our apps open quickly, everything runs smooth, and I haven't experienced any lags or stutters in my time using it. Now, for anyone who's visited my channel before, you know I'm a gamer. So I can't talk about this phone without mentioning the gaming capabilities. As I mentioned earlier, this screen has a great display with the Quad HD Plus resolution and a 120 Hz refresh rate, and that's paired with flagship hardware like the Snapdragon 8 Elite and 12 gigs of RAM. So gaming can be a really great experience on the S25 Edge. Whether it's native mobile gaming or cloud gaming through services like GeForce Now or Xbox Cloud Gaming, it handles them all without any major issues. Games look sharp, they run smooth, and the phone stays fairly comfortable to hold during longer sessions thanks to how light it is. That being said, while it can handle gaming just fine, it does heat up a little bit under longer gaming sessions. Nothing alarming, but it is something to note if you're planning on gaming for an extended period. Although I'm not sure if gaming for extended periods is the best action for this phone, because even though gaming can be a solid experience on the Edge, it may not be your best option if you're trying to conserve battery life. So on that note, let's discuss the battery life, because in my opinion, that is the biggest downside of the S25 Edge. The S25 Edge comes with a 3900 milliamp hour battery, which is smaller than anything else in the S25 lineup, and it is substantially smaller compared to the S25 Plus and the Ultra. And you'll definitely notice that if you are coming from the Ultra or a similar phone. Now, I've been fortunate that I can usually make it to the end of the day without needing to charge, but it's cutting it pretty close. On average, I've been able to get at least 4 hours of screen on time, and while that gets me through the day, it's not amazing. There have been times where, if I know I'm going to go out later in the day, I'll plan for that and I'll top it up midday just to be safe. So if you're someone who needs more out of your battery, you have a couple options. You can plan to charge it midday like I have, or you can carry a power bank with you. The good news is that with the 25-watt wired charging, plugging it in for even 30 minutes usually gives me enough to get through the rest of the day without having to worry. But if I'm being honest, if battery life is your #1 priority, this may not be the best phone for you. Now, let's quickly discuss the cameras here. The S25 Edge has a 200 megapixel wide sensor and a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, but it doesn't have the dedicated telephoto lens like the Ultra does. As for video, it can record up to 8K 30 frames per second if you happen to need that. But here's the thing, I'm not really a camera guy. I don't prioritize a phone for cameras it has, and honestly, it's been perfectly fine for the way that I use it. If you want a full in-depth breakdown about the photo and the video quality, there's plenty of other videos out there that dive into this way more than I could. So who is the Samsung S25 Edge really for? At launch, a lot of people were asking who even asked for this phone. But honestly, in a world where year after year, phones are more or less the same, I actually appreciate Samsung trying something new here. We're getting a phone with true flagship hardware in a lightweight package, and that's pretty rare these days. But it's not without its trade-offs. Battery life isn't the best, and if you really care about camera quality, you're losing some of that here compared to the Ultra. And then there's the price. This phone starts at $1,099, which is only $100 more than the S25 Plus, and it's only $200 less than the starting price of the S25 Ultra. So it's in a weird place where you could arguably get more for around the same price, especially if you can catch the S25 Ultra on sale. But if you're someone who wants flagship specs and a super lightweight body, this phone's exactly what you're looking for. So if you're curious about this one, definitely check it out. It might surprise you because it sure as heck surprised me. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on more tech and gaming content, and I'll catch you in the next one.